Welcome back to the Pet Zone podcast with Victoria, Christine, Kim, and Laura. Fueled by clippers, caffeine, and the kind of humor HR would not approve of. Now let's jump back into the conversation.
That's the beauty of like getting into it is like I remember like when I started competing and I met so many people that I'd say, oh, I want to compete, but I'm just not ready. I'm just like, dude, you don't go into the ring ready.
No.
There's very few people that literally literally stepped out of the vagina, was born under a grooming table and picked up a pair of scissors and started.
Yeah.
Like it takes time. You got to fail, and failure is so undervalued. And so, when I meet younger people that want to compete, I just tell them, go and buck it up.
It's you have to get back up that it's okay to do that though, because I feel like that we're in an era where everybody just wants to ridicule people who do fail, and it's like you learn something from failing. Like, be humble.
Absolutely.
You need to I feel like some of the I hate being the person that says this generation, but my daughter with what she does, my daughter's about to be 25, and she's finding some of the she is admin's director for Aveda School of Beauty. And she's like, some of the kids that come in there, she's like, they're kids. And I'm like, welcome to my world. But they'll be 18, getting ready to graduate high school, and they're coming to look in there to go. And she's like, I'm like so shocked at how they're quick to be mean. They're quick to don't want to put the effort. She's like, right now she's been battling some people who their moms keep calling in for them, finding out that she's like, your mom, you don't go to school here. What do you call? Like, she's like, it's driving me batty with this. And I'm like, it just all goes back to these people. No one's humble. Like, they're just not humble. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, and that can go across the ranges, but no one is freaking humble anymore.
Well, you want to know what? Humility is something that does come in time. There's very few people I've met in my life that under the age of 35 have humility. I feel like that's a lesson that I like to drive I hike a lot. And so I like to drive a lot of lessons from what I learned hiking. There's this one trail that's off of the Appalachian Trail, and it's 1,200 feet elevation. It's all rocks there. And then the way down is a little less aggressive, but it's a lot of rocks. So, I guess the best way to describe it is, when you're in your teens and your 20s, like you're just this young, happy puppy, and you just want to do all the things, and you're just running up all these challenges. You don't understand what all the fuss is about. And you're just this is so much easier. Look at all these older people. They can't move as quick as me. They just don't have it figured out. I got it figured out. And then you hit a rock.
Yeah.
You fall and you bust your face, and then you're gimping your way down the hill, but you're like, I still got this. Oh, I don't got this. And those moments where you mess it up, that's what teaches humility. That's what teaches being humble. And, some people don't hit that rock until they're a little bit later in life. I hit that rock several times in my youth. Once you obliterate your ego, you can be a better servant to yourself and a better servant to your community and to your peers. Because honestly, most people that know me, they're like, I used to be really active on social media. I was really cocky, and I was really, loud and obnoxious, and I'm still kind of obnoxious, but I listen a little more attentively, and I have a lot more intention in the things that I do and things I say and the projects I do and the things I talk about. But so I try to not be super judgy of what I see, because a lot of times I see people in their 20s. I'm like, wow, I just employed the 24-year-old version of myself.
Oh, that's always good.
I find myself wanting to yell at this person and flog this person, and instead I just call my mom and apologize. Like it's crazy, but it's just like, they're on their path and in a very different world that we had.
Yeah.
And we're on our path. And, and again, the people that are even after us, they're looking at even where we're at, and they're looking at this world that they don't even recognize.
You want to know me more than once? Horses.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and horse shows.
Yes.
No,
horseback riding. It's like some of the best educational learning moments come from horseback riding.
Or you can prepare everything perfect, and then you go into that show and your horse is like, you know what we're going to do right now? Not that. We're going to do this. Hey, you wanted that perfect thing? Watch me stop and take a piss.
You know everything we just practiced? Yeah, forget it.
I laugh because I know her horse.
My horse will be a saint forever. And then we'll go in the warm-up ring, and she's a perfect angel. The second we go down center line, she's like, hey, just kidding. And it's like a whole different horse. Like the first time it happened, I was just sitting there going, what the fuck is happening right now? But hey, you know, it through.
I don't know how you manage to like attract the naughty animals. I swear all your animals have these crazy little personalities.
They're quirky.
Do you still have that? I don't know your horses. Do you still have that white horse?
Mm-hmm. Mist. She's the current asshole. Yes.
She's the current asshole. Yeah.
Not an asshole. She's not.
You do a really good job portraying how magical and wonderful horseback riding can be. And I know Beyond the Veil, it's a pain in the ass, but like you do a very good job making me jealous from thousands of miles away. I'm like, oh, look at this beautiful animal. I just need to pave out my forests and make a horse pasture, and then I too can experience this beauty. And then I know I'm like, man, she probably deals with a lot of bullshit. I can really only imagine.
An issue. She needs hormone shots. She gets anti-inflammatories, a special diet because she has a metabolic issue. Well, not yet, but manage it before it's a problem. Yeah. And sometimes she's just like, not today, Satan.
She has like a blanket for this horse for red light therapy that I'm going to have to borrow later.
PEMF, pulse electronic magnetic field therapy.
I have one of those in the mobile grooming van, and I have a mask, and I have the blanket at home. I bought into that shit hook, line, and sinker. I was like, yep, I'm going to be young.
I want to wrap myself in the horse blanket. This horse gets better treatment than I do.
I've used, it's not the red light. I don't have that one, but it's just, all it does is help with inflammation. So you put it on the horse. They feel a little bit better. I use it on my arthritic dogs after the bath. I slap the little horse boot on their body and they walk out much happier. She's special, that horse. I love her. You can ride what I do and like ride your whole life and do all these exciting things. And then are like, hey, pandemic shut down all my fun horse sports, so why don't I learn a new one? And it's completely backwards from everything I've ever done. So, yeah, that's been fun.
Yeah. And then I have my two horses that
are trouble.
Yeah. Every time I go away, every time.
Only if I'm busy. Only if I'm busy and you're gone.
She wants to colic.
And not just any upset tummy, but hey, I'm going to just shit out pure sand and you're going to have to get the vet out here now because now I'm not going to eat every time.
There's just such a magnificent creature that just falls apart and requires so much care. I have a friend, he breeds racehorses and trains them. He's like a second generation horse trainer. And again, it's just like, he's like, you reach a threshold, you reach a point where you just honestly, you don't even complain or speak about the money because it's just this ever like cycling thing of issues. I have not been on the horse train. I grew up riding when I was younger. I had a retired polo pony, which is the horse that I learned on. So it was just kind of cantering all the time and falling a lot. But I loved Flicka, and I called her Flicka because she'd flicka me off. And she really never grew out of it. So that's what she did. And it was really fun. I would say like for pets, critters that I have like 40 chickens, 2 turkeys. I have 2 guinea pigs. And I got my 4 dogs. I have a standard poodle, which I shave with a 7-10 combo, and a Bichon Frise that it also gets a 7-10 combo. And then I have my 2 Chihuahuas, the Demon and Killer. And I just recently got into spiders. These are my little spoods. You probably can't see them. They're like the size of a thumbnail. This one is Maya anxiety. Somebody's watching me. It's my anxiety. Then I have another one named Spidey Gonzalez.
Oh, geez.
And then this is the first one, Webster. He just chills up in this little spot, comes out, eats mealworms. He's chill. I had arachnophobia, like debilitating. I watched Arachnophobia, the horror movie, when I was 5, and I was scared to go into the basement for the rest of my life. And this went into adult life. I broke leases over seeing a spider in my house, and then
I almost killed Victoria because of a spider in a car.
She was literally trying to drive off. I was like,
I was going to jump out of the car. I told her to grab the steering wheel. I was driving. I told her to grab the steering wheel.
Oh my God. Yeah. I was irrational with it. And I just met this little jumping spider, and he's like, it just literally, like, he was just sitting there, and I was like, I was going to kill it. And he just raised up his little hand, and he was just like, hello. Like, I gave him like Inigo Montoya from Princess Bride. Like, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. Like, that's the name I gave him. So then I started looking into it, and I found, wow, people purposely breed these. And then when you go into YouTube or TikTok Shorts, just enter in jumping spider, and you see these cute little eyes. I'm going to send you things. These cute little eyes. Arachnophobia, dear. I was deathly terrified. I literally
7.
Just killed her and my manager at the time in the car.
Oh, we were in a rental car somewhere on the East Coast.
We went to Hershey. We were driving to Maryland because we were flying out to Maryland. And I was on their parkway or whatever, and I was gone. I was like, grab the steering, I'm leaving. And she's like, we're moving. And I'm like, there, get rid of the spider. And my manager squish, and I was like,
well, you know that meme where it shows like the guy holding a blowtorch going, nope. Like, literally, that's how I used to feel. But now I've got 3 jumping spiders. They're chill. I like taking care of them. I mean, I was a reptile person. It's not like I wasn't really into these things, but it just, spiders really, they yucked my yum, and I just wasn't picking up what they're putting down. They really freaked me out. I was debating getting a tarantula, but I just really wanted to organize like the space for it. But again, it's what I do. I like building husbandry for critters and making their conditions perfect so they can be happy.
Well, you can come here and you'll find some wolf spiders, and you'll find the brown spiders, and you'll find the house spiders and the yard spiders, and they're these giant spiders where you're like, ooh, what is that over there?
The first time I went to Sandy's shop, she had a pet grooming shop. The last thing you're going to think when you walk in, you're going to see walls of glass enclosures of snakes
and spiders,
frogs, reptiles, snake person. I'm actually more afraid of snakes than I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And saw a snake, shut the door, and stood outside. And she goes, "Are you coming in?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, I don't do snakes. She goes, "They're all closed. They're not going to get you." And I'm like, "No."
This is and then Sandra she opened shop? Up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear that part, but just you described it. I knew
love
exactly
Sandra.
what it was.
Just so much cool stuff.
Then she opened up the door, and she opened up the gate so I could run in past them.
Wait,
and in there.
Didn't you go snake catching with her?
Yes, but that was years later. I've gotten better, but I didn't get close enough. So there's a video. It's kind of funny because everybody, nope to the rope. Nope, that's a nope rope. I ain't doing it. No. And so she goes, so I got it as just a call for a rattlesnake call. Do you want to go catch a snake? And I'm like, nope. And she goes, come on, you're going with me. I'm like, nope. When we went on this call, I finally agreed to go on this. Realized the snake was going to go in the car with us.
You think off of the car?
She had to convince me to get off the hood of the car and get inside the car. Video, it's all real.
Oh my gosh, I have a visual of that.
The best thing to happen to the dog grooming community was social media. Because we are all quirky, weird people in our own communities, our own places. And the fact that we were all able to connect and form this tribe of just weird women and men too, so it's wow, we are definitely, you know what, that shows the image where it shows the 3 little girls and the girl hanging upside down at the ballerina bar, like they're all plieing, and then it says, doctor, lawyer, engineer, and then it shows dog groomer, and the dog groomer is like upside down.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally, it's just like, it makes this pod of misfits, and it's just great.
I tell people
really,
all
really,
the time,
really great.
like, groomers are an odd bunch of people.
We are the ones who didn't fit in the rest of society.
We're an odd bunch of people, but be careful because we know how to use scissors.
It's fun.
To attack.
At our shop, we decorate for Halloween and stuff, and each year we take it up a notch. And Christmas did the Haunted Mansion, but dog themed. So I used ChatGPT and took our pets and made them look like the paintings from the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland.
Oh, that's fun.
For Christmas, my husband goes, I know what we need to do for Christmas. And I'm like, what? And he goes, well, since you call this place the Misfit Island so much, he goes, we need to do Misfit Island from Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. And we need to, and then we walk into Home Depot and there's a ginormous Bumble there. And I'm like, yeah, so that's funny you brought up Misfits, because that is how I've always looked at it. We have our own community, just like Misfit Island, where we just bring them all in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's really, really, really cool. What's been cool is, like, again, like, we kind of all, like, social media was kind of implanted into our lives as adults, and it kind of grew with us. So, now that's like getting on to like 10, 12, 13, 14 years, it's really cool being able to look at I'm like really enjoying watching all of our peers grow up. Because a lot of us, we're not just connected through social, through our groups, like we're individually friends with these people. Watching my friends that are their moms and their kids are growing up, and they're, the things that their kids are achieving. I've watched a lot of my peers like get into bodybuilding, get into skateboarding, finding life outside of our jobs. I think, like, as professionals, our jobs became our identities, like hardcore for a while. So it's really cool at this stage of life, like watching my friends age 30 to 70, find joy outside of what they do for work. And so been finding people that are into homesteading, that are, into rock climbing, that are into hiking, into running, into cycling, into roller skating, or all of it, or have a band. And it's just kind of cool being able, like, I can't even watch TV anymore. I can't. I don't have the attention span for it, because when my own life isn't exciting enough, I get to watch all these people I've grown with and leaned up on over the past 15 years, and I get to see what they do with their beautiful lives. And it's been like a super privilege to be able to grow up in a time where we have this technology where we can watch what everybody's doing. And it's been not leave our house.
Leave my house and be videoing it and posting it on not Facebook, TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And look what I'm doing. Look at this. Look what I just so,
look at my dog.
Yes. Look at the dog. Can I take an old lady pee break? I've been pounding electrolytes and green tea. I gotta pee super bad. I gotta go 3 feet to the right. Awesome.
Go potty.
Don't talk shit about me now.
What? The best part. I am covered in splat hair. Why did I do that?
I don't know. Hey, when you see us, so like I see Laura perfectly clear. You and Chris are fuzzy.
Yeah, it should be fine on our end when it finally uploads.
Okay.
So when we're done, close, like when I hit end or whatever, don't close it till it'll say uploading. Oh. And then after it's done, close it.
Okay.
Those little shits. Come here, Kylo, you naughty little fucker.
There's your naughty dogs. I know my husband came in and got Sunny because she was down here whining because I'm in the chair and I don't want you on my lap. I'd have to sit on the couch.
I did.
I was like, I'm not sitting on the couch.
So my chaos demon Veronica went to Disneyland on Friday. And yes, fucking wig on at Disneyland while standing in line so we could take pictures like an asshole, which confused everyone. Was probably the best part was like everybody looking around like, why is this bitch pulling out some ratty blonde wig and putting it on? And then, I mean, I put on like a dog collar thing. It was a whole character moment. And I couldn't keep a straight, but it was funny. So I got some pictures of Veronica the Chaos Demon, and she's going to be dropping her dogs off to get groomed at Chris's shop and going to Disneyland.
Oh, that's funny. Oh. That's really funny.
I know.
Actually. Do you have a pass for Disneyland?
I sure as shit do.
Did you
like
see
a proper adult.
What they are raising the price to? Holy crap.
Don't look at things. It's my mental health. It is my therapy. And this part's not going on. I take shrooms and I go to Disneyland and I have a blast.
I would need shrooms if I went to Disneyland. Like, I would go there. I've been there forever. But the last time I remember going there, I just remember being like, too many people. They're all going to touch me. I got to go.
That's part of what I like past, because we'll just go like late lunch, hang out for a few hours, hit some rides, and come home. So it's like if a ride's broken,
even though you have to make reservations.
Well, yeah, but for the most part, you can usually get in same day.
Oh,
we'll just usually plan a Friday instead of going out to lunch. We go to Disneyland.
Oh, it's not as bad as it was for a while there.
No, that's what I like.
I have not been to Disneyland like since I was 5.
So when you come in California, we'll go to Disneyland.
I know. Listen, I definitely would be interested. I know that like a lot of people say, yeah, it's really expensive, this, that, and the other. I'm the kind of person where it's like, I don't need to eat there. I will stay with friends. I can make it. It was like, cool. If the ticket itself is expensive and the parking is expensive, then I will just not do anything else. And
they're about to raise the price. It's like $200 to get in.
Yeah, but
running. Wow.
Yeah, and they're doing it because so many people go there. It's crowd control. And that's like, people are like, I read the comments and they're like, oh, greedy. I go, no, this is crowd control. And even back then I knew that because when I was in California, I had a really good client who she worked there. She's like, it's the only reason Disney raises price, crowd control. And the biggest crowds that were always the people with pass holders. And I'm like, well, how come we don't control them? She's like, well, the type of passes they have. She's like, we just make them more expensive, but the diehards don't care. And I'm like, well, I guess so.
Yeah, no, I would say that like Disney, I grew up between 2 generations. I'm what you classify as Zennial.
You're
I'm
the older millennial.
You're an 83. Oh, elder millennial. Yeah. I used to text my friends on a sidekick. Yeah. Oh, when are we going to the rave?
You're practically raised with the older Gen Zs.
Yeah, so like I had older adopted parents. They're silent generation, but I had a Gen X older brother, and he pretty much raised me. Yeah. Just because back in the day that was normal. Like, oh, your brother's 9, he can raise you. It's good. We're going to Florida for the week. We'll see you later.
I'm a Gen X older.
Yeah.
I raised my siblings.
So I would say that I never felt like I completely blended in with the culture of Gen X, but I could survive with them. But I also didn't feel like I completely understood the culture of millennials until like we all got over the age of 25. It was then like, cool, we had this commonality. But like growing up with them, I would say most of my friends were Gen X and older. And it wasn't a big deal in my 20s, but in my teens, it was obviously a big deal when you're 14 and you got a 25-year-old friend. Like it was, but I was cool. I was a cool little sister. So I was able to kind of do that. So, but as a result of growing up between 2 generations, my interests were very weird. And so like, I didn't really get onto the Disney, get like super into the Walt Disney stuff. I was really into Nickelodeon. I was really into Nick at Night, X-Files. Let's see. Lifetime TV, which just convinced you as a woman you're going to get killed immediately. So I was like really into a lot of the crazy like detective stories that were on Lifetime, Golden Girls, Roseanne, Ren and Stimpy, Doug,
oh my gosh,
Rocko's Modern Life. I loved Rocko's Modern Life because it's funny, when I watched it as a kid, it was a show about like adult life. And obviously you're 12, so like you don't have an understanding of adult life. So as an adult watching this cartoon, I look at it in an entirely different lens. But like when I was a kid, watching Rocko go into the equivalent of Best Buy just to try to replace his TV set. He just wanted to get Mr. Sensible. And so the sales guy is trying to upsell him to some crazy satellite bullshit. And he's like, no, I just want Mr. Sensible. And they sell him the big TV anyways. And he's so mad and it breaks. And he just spent all this money with his shiny credit card to buy this It was like the most relatable thing as an adult. As a kid, it was like, man, Rocco just always has a problem. And as an adult, you look at this pastime like, oh man, every time I go somewhere, it's like, would you like to try this new luxury service or upgrade to this? And it's like, lady, my credit is so bad. Most places won't even take my cash. Don't try to sell me anything. I have nothing but shame. So it was, that's a whole side story of just why I just didn't get into the whole environment. I also grew up in the Northeast. So like we didn't have Disney in our backyard. In California and in Florida. So it was a whole process going there. We had Six Flags, Great Adventure, a whole bunch of other things. So it wasn't something I really got into, but I loved the stories. I feel that subliminally I managed to memorize every song from every Disney show. But yeah, it's funny when I connected with a lot of my friends, both Gen X and millennials, people that were older into Gen Z or people that were younger millennials. That was like that's like a huge part of their lives. And like my friends from Wagon Tails, like they are super duper into Disney. They have their special resort passes and like their VIPs. It's really, really, really crazy just to get kind of skipped out I don't know if it's because my geographic location or just that I was into different things, but just really never got into Disney.
I'm originally from New Jersey, and we came out here when I was 5 to visit, and we went to SeaWorld, and we went to Disneyland, of course, and Disneyland had an impact on me, but not until later. SeaWorld had such an impact on me.
Shamu all day.
Black Cat, I renamed it Shamu.
I had a stuffed animal Shamu. Me everywhere.
We had a Siberian Husky I renamed Shamu. And my dad says, you can't have both. And I said, why? All the whales there are all named Shamu, and they have little code names. Because that's what it was. And my dad got a point. So everything was Shamu that was black and white. Everything. All my stuffed animals, and they had little code names. And then when the year later, we moved to California and we went to Disneyland again. Then Disneyland became, because I was engulfed in it, like anytime we had a birthday party or anything big that we saved up for, we go to Disneyland. Things were different then. It was a family of 4 or 5 could go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Remember back in the early 90s when they did the Southern California residents thing that you, after like 5 years, it would be $20 for us because they wanted us all to go so bad. Me and my friends used to go all the time.
Yeah,
I got that pass when I was helping with my niece, and we would go a couple times a week because we at that point just lived down the street from Disneyland. Yeah. So we would take and take her, but like nowadays I don't know when the last time I was to Disneyland. It's like at least 5-6 years
My
ago.
recent Disney obsession, not Disneyland, not Disney, was post-COVID because they closed the park for so long and then it opened and I went and then again, I was like, that's manageable. Why not?
But I'm also a huge Star Wars fan and I've been to that.
Yes!
Huge. And by the way, if you're a huge Star Wars fan, Home Depot has a life-size Chewbacca. And my husband said, no, I have the Yoda. But he said no to the Chewbacca, but I'm going to wear him down for Christmas.
We need Chewbacca.
We need Chewbacca. I don't know where we put him in the house, but we need him.
I just want to see the dog's reaction.
You know, I just want you to know it's easier to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I literally, I have a tendency, do it now, apologize for it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. He walked by it. He goes, okay, that's cool. And he was thinking about it for a minute. His issue is, Victoria, we all live together and it's a tiny house. And
there's no room.
We've crammed and I have Yoda. Yoda's in a corner and him and his lifesaver, and
Chewie can go behind Yoda.
Where? He's wide.
We move
big.
the couch to the side.
We just get rid of the couch. We don't need the couch.
Just
we have
get
the love
3
seat.
recliners.
There you go. We've actually talked about that.
What do you need?
But mount it on the ceiling.
Oh God, the dogs would be Dobby.
I have lived in like 300 to 500 square foot spaced apartments, and I had to saw a freaking sectional in half to make this shit work. This one particular apartment we had, it was in Harlem, but it's right near this really beautiful park. It's a brownstone that got turned into apartments, and we had a garden level apartment. So we had a yard that was bigger than our apartment. It was like a 24-foot by 12-foot space yard. It's huge. So I was like, we gotta make this work. This definitely where we wanted to live. This is like right when I opened up my business. So like literally sawed a sectional in half to make a living room. And then built this really beautiful outside thing. You can make it work. You can make it work in any kind of space. Like when I finally was able to get a house, what was weird to me when we first got this space was I wasn't used to bedrooms being like a normal size. I was used to a bedroom being like you can fit, it swallows your mattress. I would say like in my apartment in New York, I still have my apartment. I have a loft bed. There's a company called like Loft Beds for Adults or something like that. And I got my bed up high, my office underneath. I've got steps to get up it. The steps allows me to like put in like my clothes and all that stuff. Like you can build something that works. So I move here, and this bedroom that I'm in right now, it's probably a 20 by 12. It's massive. So like, originally I had my office on the other side of the house, and this was just the bedroom, and I'm like, this is so much space, and it's so dark in my office that like I don't like the lighting. I don't like sitting in my office and doing any of my working from home or doing any of my projects or doing any of my writing because it's so dark. And so I moved my office into my bedroom because again, it's so huge that there's still room to me. I feel like if you've lived in a small space, you psychologically don't know how to deal with having too much space. So you fill it up with bullshit, and which is what I've done.
Yeah, I can relate to that one. Okay, back to stars really fast. And if we all have them, I think we should do an episode with these things. Wait, let me put it on. Oh, I get it. I gotta get up. Okay.
I know what she's doing.
Oh, the glasses.
Yes! I do not have it, but I'm going on Amazon right now.
Right?
Okay,
what?
So remember when the girl she got in her car and she cracked up and she had, like, it became the big thing? That's when I had got one. My husband got it for me. I thought it was the funniest freaking thing.
I need keywords. I need keywords right now.
Oh, I don't know. Chewbacca mask?
But it makes with sound. Never mind. It came up.
Yeah. Yoda. I had Darth Vader. I don't know where. But yeah. So the other thing about the Christmas Chewbacca, he makes all the sounds.
I bartended in that thing.
So here's somebody. I'm at the Home Depot looking at this Chewbacca and just I have to have it. You hear it on the video, me going, I have to have this. And I didn't realize you could hear it, but I'm like, I have to have this. Like a little kid. You can't see. And then what's funny is I did cut that part out. My next thing is, why do I want to get a brush and a comb and get this looking not mad at it?
Right?
Because it was a little rough like a doodle, but I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, a little sprit, fluff it.
Yeah. Was going to put some boats in it.
Right?
That's awesome. That's awesome. This is Star Wars. What an incredible, when I was born in 83, and so I grew up with a lot of classic. We all grew up with really classic movies. I mean, I would say there was a time in the 80s where the movies that were being produced were really campy and bad. A lot of Chevy Chase films were just super campy. They were just awful, but they were great. We watched them. I Naked Gun, 33 and a Third, Airplane.
Oh yeah.
Obviously Star Wars, Spaceballs. Like I miss movies being good. I hate to sound like an old person, but it's just like there's so few times where I'm like, whoa, that's a great movie.
I know. And so many of those movies these days say people would just shit their pants over. They'd cancel it, and you're like, oh, pull the stick out of your butt. Don't take it so serious. It's funny. Funny's funny.
They're going remaking Spaceballs. My husband just told me this the other day.
I heard.
Using John Candy's son. I didn't even know he had a son.
Oh yeah. Ow. I just today, started it last night, but finished watching the documentary on him, talking about him. Like sometimes I had realized I've forgotten so many things about him, but some of the movies he did, but it was really interesting. Yeah. So that would be Spaceballs is a good one.
Yeah. So we grew up, and this might be why we have a certain humor, but we grew up with John Candy. We gave all the Belushi brothers, all of them, and Murphy Raw.
Oh, geez.
Definitely.
Yep.
But we grew up with,
I'm sorry.
Some of the jokes now that they say that if you put in front of the younger people today, it's wrong. But to us, it was funny. It was life. That was our life.
Yeah. Well, if you look also at if you look at when we were younger and the kind of humor that the silent generation and the Greatest Generation exchange, some of those old cartoons. I mean, like even Mickey Mouse, the original purpose of Mickey Mouse was to make fun of the Irish people. Oh, here's there's all these, again, Avenue Q kind of touched on this in a bit of way because we used to have like a racist humor where we all just kind of made fun of everybody's generalizations and mannerisms, and
everyone was fair game.
And it was just kind of fair game until somebody's feelings got hurt. And again, people, I would say at that time that when somebody realized like, oh, this was offensive. Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was offensive to you. And it really wasn't like a big deal afterwards.
Yeah.
And so we weren't very serious back then. And so everybody just kind of made fun of everyone. It doesn't matter if you're white, you're black, you're Asian. It doesn't matter. It was fair.
It didn't matter.
Avenue Q did such an amazing job. Everyone's a little bit racist sometimes. Doesn't mean we go around committing hate crimes. Ethnic jokes may be uncouth, but we laugh because they're based on truth. Don't take them as personal attacks. Everyone is racist, so relax. If somebody clips this, I want it sent to me.
Work this,
but it was a different time, and I think like once we got to 2013, there was consequences for misspeaking, and I feel that like I remember I remember always apologizing for my grandfather, my grandmother. They would say things that were just like inappropriate, and it was just like, oh, it's grandma. She's a little racist. It's okay. She just doesn't know. She comes I can only imagine when we're older, we're gonna be like, no kid of mine is marrying an AI bot. I'm like, Mom, you're so robot phobic. I imagine that, like, again, it's like we're not going to be spared from this. This is going to be something that even Generation Alpha, when they're 85, they're going to have their thing. Because this is how right now we got 7 generations alive right now, which is pretty crazy. Like 7 generations, different experiences, different viewpoints. And, I would say that the special thing about Gen X and, the aging millennials is we've got this brink between an analog world and a digital world.
Yeah.
We're still young enough, we're old enough, but we're also young enough to understand and appreciate both worlds. So like we if you dial this back 40 years, not everybody was living to their 80s. A lot of people are cooking at 65, like 70. So we're in this really interesting time where we got people that are 100 years old, like 100 freaking years old. And so they're able to give that introspect and that experience of what that was normal to them. Like I can only imagine being born in like 1920 and still being alive today. Like what a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Well, my dad, we were from New Jersey and we were Irish, and the culture back then, when you went to some of the towns and stuff, especially the Italian towns, they might not get along so well with the Irish. There was some respect, but there was some back and forth.
Yes, there was.
And when we were here in California and I started dating my husband who's Italian, and I found this funny because here's an Irish descent guy doing this, and he's sounding more Italian from back east than the kid that he's doing this to. He was making Italian jokes, and he thought this would erase the offensiveness. He would go, put his fingers together and go, "No offense." And it's like, are you kidding me right now? That doesn't erase it. But he was making all the Italian jokes to the Italian kid, whose dad, by the way, was from New York.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it was just an interesting time. And you know what? A lot of times that did erase it because
you're acknowledging like, hey, I'm acknowledging your feelings, but blah, blah, blah. I am like a total blender baby. And so I could be like, people a lot of times can't figure out what the heck I am. So people like, is she Asian? Is she Mexican? Is she Irish? Is she Scott? Like I'm literally a lot of everything. So I've always found it interesting because I look like I could be so many different people that again, not a threat. People will make all sorts of jokes. And so that's why I've always been comfortable with any kind of humor. I grew up in a time and I grew up around people that again, I can be privy to any kind of humor because nobody's worried about offending me because they don't know what the hell I am. So it works out beautifully. I think that there's a space for being respectful and caring about people's feelings. One thing I do like about Gen Z, and I do appreciate about them, now I get to spend more time around them. I don't have kids of my own, so like now that Gen Z is like grown up in their 20s, like we're now in shared spaces where I'm getting to know people in their 20s and their 30s. And so what I do like about Gen Z is the awareness of their feelings and willing to talk about it. And the Gen X in me wanted to criticize and make fun and make light of it. But the sliver of millennial in me appreciated that, like, man, like they've made it okay to get therapy and to talk about it and to have shortcomings and to acknowledge. I feel like my emotional maturity has improved tremendously just being around Gen Z. Now there's certain things, obviously I like my humor, I like my jokes, I like my dirty jokes, I like my ethnic jokes. I don't come for my jokes, but when it comes to being kind to not just myself but other people, I really appreciate about that. I feel that they really paved the way for mental health acknowledgement and burnout and these discussions. And it's definitely something that, I credit them to.
You definitely on that. I have a lot of Gen Z working for me. So, and also when I say this, but I have a hard time saying millennial.
Without sounding like a drunkard. Millennial.
Yeah, well, more issues with the millennials than I do the Gen Zs. And I get along with everybody, but I have a harder time understanding some perspective from that. The Gen Zs, I'm understanding them a little bit more. I think that you're absolutely right. For mental health, they have paved a way for, therapy not to be such a dirty word. For like there's a situation with a friend. She was in a bad situation and she felt for years she couldn't get any help. And then when she needed therapy for it, years later, she was much more comfortable in today's world than she was back then when she was getting the abuse. Yeah. And it's a different time. It's not a dirty word. When she went to her boss and said, "Hey, I need help. So can I have this time off?" It was just, yes, absolutely. Where back then when it was happening, there's no way in the world she could do it. So yes,
100%. Oh, it's amazing. And in our industry, we have a lot of alcoholism and a lot of substance abuse, and it doesn't show up in the way that you think that it would show up. People, when they picture an addict or an alcoholic, you picture somebody that's falling apart, and no, they'll come to work and they'll be together until they're not. And alcoholism in particular is exceptionally bad. And so it's really humbling and nice to see, somebody that might be 22, 23, 24 years old, and they go to you and say, "Hey, listen, I'm not okay right now. I don't feel confident in myself to do my job today. I might be tomorrow." And at first, the first time I had somebody do this to me, I was like, I beg it your fucking pardon. What? Nothing. You're just, your brain isn't okay. I don't understand. Work and money make the brain better. Like, that's the Gen X in me thinking that, like, that makes a difference. But then the millennial in me wanted to understand. And I'm just like, you want to know what? That's where, my generation and up kind of got it twisted, is we use work as a prescription to plow through our problems. And when you don't have the abundance of work, or if your body's not allowing you to work the same way, like, this generation is getting ahead of that problem. And they're just like, "Hey, I'm listening to what my body needs right now. I'm listening to what my brain needs right now." And it may not work with our business model, the finances of the more, but it's a very human response, and I respect it, and I want to nurture it and understand it and be on the same bandwagon within a responsible level. Meaning, like, hey, sometimes I have days where I'm a small business owner and I got all these bills, I got stuff I got to do, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not feeling it today. I don't feel okay. You know what? Mm-hmm. This Monday, we can make it happen on Friday. We're going to take Monday because we need it. And then I show up better Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because I addressed that day. So I definitely do appreciate about
at least for me, the days I don't like, oh, this just isn't a day I should be out. Yeah. Always the worst days that everything goes wrong. Traffic's the worst. Something breaks. The dogs are all shitting on the table. And you're just like, why?
I grew up large staff. I have, I even had more at one point, but we're at 8 groomers right now. Wow. And bathers. They need more bathers. So one of the reasons why I was pushing to have a large staff and have that is so that if someone was having a bad day, there was someone to cover. Yeah. Because in the industry, when I was growing up, it was you. And you never took a day off. And I was broken in my 30s. This is a very physical job and mental too. I mean, I see a lot of stuff, our customers go through, they become, part of the family. We see dogs pass away. Unfortunately, we see customers pass away. We'll see, a wife get beat up by her husband. This is actually a true story. And so, we experience things. We're human. We experience things. We need that break. This generation has helped me with that. Now, that being said, I'm very lenient on days off. I have learned recently that I am too lenient. Victoria's laughing.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I have to figure that balance out. And I ain't gonna lie, this year I've definitely struggled. So, but I don't want to be that boss says, if you're having a mental issue, you need to go take care of it.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, when you're taking out almost a month or 2 months.
Yeah, you need to have one thing I've learned, and again, I feel like this is something that isn't always a strong point with a lot of us. When we open up a business, a lot of us open up a business not because we have the education and the experience to do so. It's because we're good at our craft and we're sick of working for assholes. So we open up a business and we don't know how to say no. We don't know how to set boundaries. We don't know how to set limitations. That runs its course. It usually takes 5 to 10 years to come to a head. And then, you have a bunch of employees that, again, you haven't given them guidelines. You haven't given them a book. You haven't given them like the corporate Bible, because we're trying to be better than corporate. We're trying to be human beings, and we're trying to let's figure it out as we go. I've learned when you hire the people, when they're still at that point where they're still trying to impress you, then that's when you lay down the law. That's when you set down the limitations. Like, hey, listen, you get 10 sick days. You get 10 sick days. And you get 10 sick days, and you get 10 vacation days, and then you get 10 just in case days. And I have found that to be very helpful. I have no one working over 4 days a week. I like the 4-day week balance. I like the 3-day weekend. It usually tends to help things. And so by doing that, you put an expectation. I got this one hair that's really pissing me off. There we go. You set that expectation when you're at the handshake level. Because if you try making rules as you go, no one's going to respect you. Nobody's going to. You unfortunately have to lift the leg, and you have to lift your leg. You got to piss on the table corner and say, "That's mine."
We have
to pee on this.
we have the rules and the laws and stuff, and they're guidelines. I'm not gonna lie, especially when it comes to time off.
I think it's also good is to put somebody between you and your crew. When it's all you, that's where a lot of mom and pops fail. And you make it mom and pop, and just like in a family dynamic, they go to mom, they go to pop, they go to mom. What you need is that person that's going to be like, hey, we had an agreement. This is the agreement.
We are redoing our protocols for January, and we already do PTO.
Yeah, that's good.
We are going to extend on that a bit. My husband was bringing it up, and hopefully the way we're going to do it is they get their normal 40 hours. And if they can earn more after they use it, they can keep to the 40 hours.
Yeah.
But they have to be here to concur it.
Have you considered the 4-day work week? Because by doing the 4-day work week, you increase the day. So it's not an 8-hour day. It's like a 10.
You
it's a 10
can't
hour.
do that here because you still have to pay them for overtime. So you can't go over 8 hours without paying them overtime.
Are you commission or hourly?
We have to be hourly here.
Yeah, we're hourly.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're on the West Coast.
Yeah. So you can do a production. It cannot be. We cannot be commission based only.
Yeah.
I don't do a production bonus. I rather just pay them, because a lot of times when you're doing the production bonus, a lot of people will do a lower hourly pay. I just rather pay them what they're bringing in type thing.
I would run the math of again, because I would run the math, do an experiment, just figure out the actual financials of what that overtime cost of production, but see what the productivity increases to. Because if you're able to make it work, and again, I know nothing of California's finances, so I obviously do your due diligence. Figure out what the cost change would be to see what the production increase would be. Because like, again, with me and with my team, I'm willing, again, I'm mobile, so I can't do the same numbers like in a store. I can see 8 to 12 clients mobile because I got 3 days of rest. And as I get to reset my body, get my sleep, get caught up on my stuff. That third day makes all the difference. If I ever didn't have this business and I had to go work for somebody, I would say, I will work 15 hours a day. I will not complain. I will produce whatever you want me to produce under whatever shoddy conditions you can give me. But I cannot work more than 4 days a week, ever. So and that would be like, that would be where I would die.
We did the math for it. We did the break even math.
Okay, cool.
And here's the problem. When we approached it to half our staff loved the idea. The other half, and those are the ones that are the producers, they don't want to work more than the 6 to 8 hours that they work.
Oh,
yeah.
Give me my 4
and
long days.
They just rather it's.
Well, is there a way that you can say, hey, we got 2 camps of people, those, and that way it could really balance out, because if one, if you did both, then basically you get nice full coverage.
It's something I could go bring up with my husband and stuff, but there again we'd have to look into, because there is
the people that the people are your younger people are probably, I want to work 4 days, and the older people are like, no, I want to work 5 days.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's because it's ingrained into boomers, Gen X, and some of the older millennials as well. It's ingrained. I work 5 days a week, because when you went to school, what were you trained to do? We go to school Monday through Friday. We get there at 8, and we're home by 5 eating supper. The trouble being a dog groomer is you're never home by 5 eating supper.
No.
Like, because someone's late, something goes to shit. And honestly, most of us don't shit where we eat. So we have commutes. So where we live and where we work, our service areas are different. Most people commute 2 hours a day. So if you're working 8 hours, commuting 2 hours, and then you have to carve out the time to prepare for the day, you're away 12 hours a day anyways. So why don't have 4 freaking days of pow, 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 and then 3 days of, homeostasis achieved.
That is a point that I'm going to bring up to my husband, because I can guarantee you right now, if we could split it like that, then
there's no tax that would discourage me from that. I mean, like, literally, you can. Again, I know I don't have an understanding of California's commission system. I know this was a big sense of contention for a lot of people, but I mean, you can change your math to make it serve your purpose. It's just, as long as the employee is understanding, hey, this is how the math is mathing on this math device, but this is the math between you and me. That's the only way I can put it.
Yeah. I'm surprised, Chris, that they won't let. Now, is that just in the grooming industry? Just because I know people when I lived there,
I think it's commission gig workers.
Well, no, I know people live for the companies that they were 410s. Like, they were allowed to do, like, it had to work out that way. So
they were trying to change the law, and it just didn't pass. And we were panicking, because we were trying to figure out how to make that work. And it was 4 days. So they wanted 4 days work week, and it didn't pass because they wanted people to still hold their pay at their full-time status, and you had to crunch it into the 4 days. So a lot of businesses fought back on it. And we were kind of, that sounds like a good plan and everything. But we were a little bit worried about doing the full time, and then we'd lose those hours with them that they'd be bringing in productivity, how that looked. And then it didn't pass anyway. We were already kind of like California. I could see bringing it up again. It might get changed a little bit. I've always been for a 4-day work week, and our staff always worked the same day, so we could do it.
Yeah, you have a massage chair in the break room for your staff.
I do.
And a fully stocked kitchen, and not so that, because, when I was younger, they fed you lunch so you wouldn't leave and you kept working through lunch. No, she's actually, no, here, let me provide you lunch because food is expensive. I'm like, I'm going to come work for you, except for then I'd have to be somewhere.
We have grab and go lunches. It's nothing fancy. Occasionally we'll do parties for them and stuff. Well, not occasionally, actually, quite often. But
take them to trade shows.
Take them to trade shows. I pay for education. In fact, we're having next week, we're having someone come out and do a 3-day seminar for Yves Saint Bernard. And I have some employees that are going to be doing it. And so we pay for a lot. I have, like I said, I have 8 groomers and 2 bathers. We need more bathers. But I've had them for a while. I have a really good retention. I also don't want to become that shop that everything's going good, we're not going to rock the boat, blah, 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 because you never know when someone's back there getting stale, or even if they're doing all the things that we provide for them, you never know. I'm always been that shop to improve and add to. And that's different coming from a Gen X. Hold on, my husband's peeking in. I know Sandra's here. Okay, leave me the key. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So I just pulled up something really quick. So I've looked into the California hour and wage laws. Obviously, anything over 8 hours in a single day is considered overtime, even if you're under 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Overtime is 1.5 times the pay after 8 hours, 2 times the pay at 12 hours in a day. So the solution, and I think Kim may have touched on this, Alternative Workweek Schedule, AWS. California allows businesses to legally schedule 10-hour shifts without daily overtime if they adopt Alternative Workweek Schedule, AWS. Here how it works. Step 1, you have a proposal. I can send you to this directly. Step 1, proposal. The employer possesses an AWS 4-day, 10 hours. It must be presented in writing to infected employees. Step 2, secret ballot vote. Employees must vote in favor of schedule. At least 2/3 of people is required. The vote must be confidential. Then you file with the state. You must file the election results with the California Division of Labor Standards Enforcement, DLSE. Once approved and filed, you're allowed to run 10-hour shifts at straight time pay, no overtime, unless someone exceeds 40 hours or 10 hours in a day. Example of pay under AWS day. So pay rate, say it's 30 an hour, scheduled Tuesday through Friday, 10 hours a day. 10 hours Tuesday, 10 hours Wednesday, 10 hours Thursday, 10 hours Friday. Obviously, it's just an example. Nobody's paying anybody. Nobody is dipping a toe out their door for under $30 an hour, let alone a skilled tradesperson. So it's just an example. So the pay is $300 a day. The week total is $1,200. Your check is no daily overtime. AWS was approved. No weekly overtime, doesn't exceed 40 hours. If they pick up an extra half day Saturday of 5 hours, those are overtime hours, 1.5. So the dog groomer often falls under Wage Order 2 Personal Services in California, which allows for AWS structures as long as the vote and DLSE filing is completed and they maintain 30 minutes meal breaks 30 minutes before the 5th hour and paid rest breaks 10 minutes for every 4 hours. I can send you all this stuff, but like generally, and it says that there's over 150 pet related businesses that operate under this clause.
Okay. From what I understood, that part was under question where we could do that too.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of times, again, California's apparatus is very similar to New York City. It's in a process. I like to use the reference of a snake. You have the snake's head and the tail, and they're eating each other constantly. So no one really freaking knows. So sometimes you can go and you can talk and maybe you just didn't get to speak to the right person in the department. I've learned do not talk to other business owners. Most small business owners, they're Googling things or they're just, their research is very light and doesn't get into it. So you need to talk to people at the state labor board department and go from there. And even sometimes the first person, they might not give you a satisfactory answer. And they might say, no, this isn't approved. And it's because they just don't care. They just don't want to be bothered with the filing.
Yeah, so, especially in California.
I'll do a little more. Exactly. So like in New York, trust me, like people literally, they'll hit a roadblock and they'll give up on what they're doing because they hit some red tape. Like you have to do the investigative work. You have to keep poking the bear or you're not going to be able to pursue anything. That's what I would do. And, I'm happy to do a little more research, see what else I can dig up, but that makes sense.
Do the research. We just haven't done it in a while, but the last time we had it passed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's something to think about doing half the staff that way.
I think that we live in different times. The 5-day work week, 8-hour work day, those were built for times where the roads fit the population. We have not upgraded the infrastructure in the United States since the population boomed in the 80s. So we got 3 lanes of highway, 4 lanes of highway. I don't need to lecture anybody in California about traffic. because y'all deal with it. And again,
Yeah.
our country hasn't. They talk about it, but they don't do it. So what's our biggest issue
I
is
think the
a
hard part is because you hear people talk about wanting to do the 4-day, but they don't want to do more than 8 hours. Like I was reading one where they only want to do 6 hours, and I'm like, that's not always feasible.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be 10 hours, and that's just the reality. If somebody wants to overachieve, that's a different story. But at the end of the day, the 5-day a week, 8-hour was created for a time that no longer exists.
Yeah.
Most people spend 2 hours commuting to their jobs. So if you have to do that 5 times a week, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And again, just for a point of reference of why I support this more now than I did before, I wear a Whoop bracelet. They're not paying me for this. So my 5 followers, don't run and buy this and say that I told you to get it. But I wear a Whoop, so I'm able to measure my everything that my body does, sleep, heart rate, and I get to see the impacts of stress. And so when I go and I work, the day I commute in from Pennsylvania to New York, and then I stay in New York for the week, and then I commute home. Tuesdays and Fridays, my body is performing its shittiest, and it's under its most stress because I'm commuting a longer day, and I'm grooming a lot. I'm grooming more to scrunch it down into those days. So the metrics of having that third day to rest, it makes it so my body doesn't start experiencing fatigue until Thursday, Friday. So I'm able to grind in those days. And then at the end of the week, that's when the fatigue sets in. And then I'm able to undo what I do to myself.
So I have a question. What is this bracelet?
It's called a Whoop. Whoop, there it is. I've been wearing it since 2022. I started actually like becoming more physically active and actually utilizing it properly. But so it shows and measures your strain, your recovery, and your sleep. And it's not like it's something distracting like an iWatch. You don't have to. It's in your phone. So you have to physically go to your phone to look at what it's doing. So it measures your sleep, what you do in your sleep. Once I started exercising, weight training, swimming, and doing all this stuff, and I started looking at the data of how my body recuperates from working out and from work, the dog grooming work, it's strain on our bodies, but a lot of people try to say it's exercise, and it's not. It's the worst kind of exercise.
You're standing still.
You're going to sit for a little bit, then you're going to stand for a little bit, then you're going to sit for a little bit, you're going to stand for a little bit, then you're going to do this, 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 and it's not enough movement. A lot of, as we've watched.
Yeah, and in the mobile, as you know, because you have a van too, you kind of stand like this. Like I find myself like that more now in my van versus when I had my trailer, because my trailer had so much more room. It is, my posture has changed a lot since the van.
Yeah, so I went really nuts in monitoring my health, paying attention to my body and what I do. This could honestly be a topic of itself, but I care. Yeah. I have a little stair stepper in my van. I actually use it. I wear compression socks and ankle compression sleeves. I do physical exercise between each appointment.
All right, we'll pause the conversation here. It'll continue next week. Please give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Pet Zone Podcast. Have a crazy customer story, confession, or just something else you'd like to share with the show? Please feel free to email us at info@petzonepodcast.com. Don't be shy. We can keep you anonymous if you like. Also, if you're a professional pet groomer, please feel free to check out the Facebook group, Mobile Groomer Zone. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show on any podcast platform you're listening on, and share it with a friend. Until next time.